Introduction.
Sorry, I think all you have received our short summary of the rebuttal, and I'm quite sure you have received it. So let me introduce first with my panel. I'm the member of the legal team of the International Crimes Research Foundation. We have done this research in collaboration with one of the law firm, UK law firm is called Law Valley Solicitors, and we have conducted that research. So the reason we are here to talk about United Nations report and our research paper, and we have invited a few guests here. I'll introduce from a very right, Mr. Hassan Chaudhary, barrister. He's the Education Minister of Bangladesh government, and not former. And Dr. Rabi Alam, he's a practitioner in United States, Los Angeles, for internal medicine. And then we have our chief guest here, Dr. Hassan Mahmoud. He's the foreign minister of Bangladesh government. And my name is Nijhum Mojumder. I'm known as Nijhum Mojumder. My nickname is Nijhum, so I'm widely known as Nijhum Mojumder. I'm a barrister and solicitor. I'm practicing in the United Kingdom, and I'm the head of the legal team of the International Crimes Research Foundation. And on my very left, Mr. Shakiruddin. He is working in the wise.gov as a policymaker, and he's also the member of International Crimes Research Foundation. So the reason we are here, all you know that on 12th of February last year, United Nations have published a report on what actually had happened in Bangladesh in 2024, August and July. So we have gone through the whole report. It was like 114 pages report, and we have gone through the whole report, and we conducted another research paper on it. So I will read out my speech, and already you have received that. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. As you know, the OHCHR fact-finding report on the July 2024 unrest in Bangladesh concluded that grave and widespread human rights violation occurred and attributed exclusively responsibility to the then ruling Bangladesh Awami League. Given the gravity of these allegations, the alleged lack of independence and impartiality of the fact-finding team in preparing the report, and the potential consequences for international accountability, diplomatic engagement, and public understanding, this report demanded careful, rigorous scrutiny. The International Crimes Research Foundation, ICR Foundation, a UK-based non-profit research institution, we have done this research in collaboration with Law Valley Solicitors, to just let you know. We established this organization in 2013, conducted a full independent examination of the OHCHR report. This review was led by the editorial stewardship of Professor Dr. J.M. Chaudhary. We are not revealing the full name, as you can understand the risk behind this, because if we reveal their name, full name, they might be in trouble, because they all are in Bangladesh at this moment. So you fully understand the situation there, that we cannot even tell their name properly. And she's one of the eminent professor, but I'm not going to tell that which university she's from for this security purpose. And then Professor Dr. S.M. Masumbillah, I'm telling his name because he's outside of Bangladesh at this moment. So he was a former professor of Jagannath University, and he is in exile in France at this moment. and supported by an international legal team including Barrister M.R. Khan. I cannot reveal his full name. He's a barrister from England, and myself as the head of the legal team, and Miss N. Mustafa, Barrister Shubho and Barrister S. A. Chaudhary from UK, but they're all living in Bangladesh. Their collective expertise in constitutional and international human rights law underpins this rebuttal. Based on content and analysis and critical evaluation of various legal and non-legal material, particularly those referenced in the OHCHR rebuttal report, our team concluded that the OHCHR report is undermined by profound structural deficiencies, misinterpretations of statistical data, and lack of evidentiary support, and materially affect its credibility. More specifically, these flaws include misstatement of fact, omissions of readily available evidence, absence of transparent verification of fact-checking, failure to incorporate testimony from all relevant actors, internally inconsistent reasoning, selective narration, and a lack of methodological integrity. Taken together, these shortcomings render the report incapable of sustaining its sweeping conclusions and risk misleading the international community. Just to let you know another information, that these documentation, the United Nations documentation, has been used in so-called International Crimes Tribunal in Bangladesh. You know what actually had happened there. There was no representations, nothing. There was no opportunity for the so-called accused. So United Nations report, which published on 12th of February last year, it has been used, is one of the substantive evidence for the prosecution team, which is very weird. And even there was several attempts from these illegal US government to make this United Nations document as a historical documents in Bangladesh. And even they submitted a writ petition and filed a writ petition for the government to announce this document as a historical document. So just to let you know that this document used widely while they conducted so-called trial in Bangladesh. Based on the content analysis and critical evaluation of various legal and non-legal materials, particularly those referenced in the OHCHR rebuttal report, our team concludes that this OHCHR report is undermined by profound structural deficiencies. Taken together, these shortcomings render the report incapable of sustaining its sweeping conclusions and risk misleading the international community. In contrast, these triangulate our findings. The rebuttal report incorporates key informant interviews with former ministers, senior police officials, student leaders, and other professionals. All interviews were conducted with explicit names and designation, enabling further investigation and cross-checking for validity. The OHCHR claims that its findings rest on thorough and independent assessment of collected information. However, the report's own methodology reveals a compromised data collection process. This fact-finding mission operated under restriction imposed by the interim illegal Yunus government and was unable to interview high-ranking security officials of the former Sheikh Hasina of the last government. Widespread evidence of revenge violence thereafter. The report also fails to explain how its sample was selected or how representativeness was ensured, making its generalizations, especially allegation of systematic evidence. It contradicts testimony from senior student leaders who confirmed that Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina repeatedly urged, restrained and directed that security matters be handled by appropriate authorities. The report itself acknowledged that on 13th of July, the Dhaka Metropolitan Police launched an investigation into infiltration of the protest, indicating that the government recognized and attempted to address third-party interference. The report also selectively narrates violence while condemning state action. It largely downplays widespread vandalism, arson and attacks on transport, media and political opponents, documented extensively in national and international media. CHR fails to connect this collapse of order to subsequent security responses, presenting a flattered narrative that ignores the duty of the state to protect life and prevent violence, including attacks on Awami League supporters, police, journalists, and especially the minority communities. It also misrepresents accountability efforts, ignoring that the accountability is essential, methodological rigor, inclusivity and fairness. Any future investigation must include all parties, extend beyond 15th of August 2024 and examine events at least until 15th of August 2025. Justice must be complete and I will start from Mr. Mohibul Hassan Chaudhary on this rebuttal report. So then you can, after panelists, then you can ask a question. Yes.
I don't think it's needed. All these. Thank you. Honorable members of the media, today we've gathered to hand you a report made by an organization on the UN report, which was, as you have realized by now, a one-sided report, if you like. So we have commissioned a team of volunteer lawyers and researchers, and they had gone through the entire report, and we wanted to present it to the media here in India, which is why we have a team here ready to answer some questions from you. From my personal experience, when this report was being done, in fact, none of us were informed. I was tipped by one of the team members who had said that our version of events should also be reflected in this UN document. And after many days of tries, I have emailed, tried to contact them through WhatsApp and through personal contacts, but they were not very responsive. So after many attempts, a team then got back to me and said, we'll connect you with the team in Geneva who are compiling this report. And I was given a date, and they had a 5-hour-long meeting with me, virtually, of course. And at that time I was in India, and it appeared that they were already informed by one side and already determined what they were going to put in the report. So it was a predetermined report. Our interview was only taken, my interview at least, that I can say about my one only. So my interview was taken almost as if to justify what they were going to say. So it was almost like an interrogation. A lot of questions were asked about about the events leading up to the 5th of August, because of course, I was discussing, negotiating with the student team, not the student team, sorry, the protest team, along with the then law minister and the information minister. So, and I was extensively questioned on the role of the security forces, whether the Prime Minister had instructed the security forces to use lethal weapon, and I went through in details with them on the legalities of our police code. I'm sure in India also they have this thing called police code, where police has their own internal manual as to how to handle riots, when to use lethal weapon, and I was quite open and transparent and frank with the team, expecting that at least some of what we were telling the team would be reflected. None of this was reflected, and I had also connected other senior police officials with the team, and as they expressed interest, I connected the police officials who are in hiding, and I have also suggested that many of our leaders are in jail, and they should be seeing them too. Otherwise, this report will look like a one-sided report. If you look at the report, it is a very diluted one. A lot of the evidence that they relied on was from some news outlets which had openly and clearly declared their support for the Yunus regime and publicly calls us fascist. Although, of course, none of the international outlets or outlets in the region would use such a term against a sitting and elected government of this length. So a biased team was convened and their evidence was used. No one from our team were able to give any kind of interview to them. They had claimed that they were talking to us in secret, in confidence, and they tried to keep our names confidential. This is what they had claimed, but what we had said, what we had given them, none of this was reflected. So that's all from my side. I'm sure Dr. Hassan here, he has also given an interview with the Geneva team. It appeared that the OHCR team already started from this presumption that the government of the day was guilty. Although inside the reports, at times they had themselves casted doubt on certain issues such as firing from the helicopter. If you look at the charge against our leader, Honorable Leader Sheikh Hasina, you'd see that one of the charges that she was convicted on was instruction to the security forces to fire from a helicopter. And the Director General of RAB at that time, he had also had to escape, was pressed by the so-called International Crimes Tribunal to give testimony against the Prime Minister, and telling the court that she had instructed shots to be fired from helicopter. And when he got in touch with me, he had told me that the helicopter does not have the capacity to shoot because it's a single-engine helicopter, and as you know, if you are shooting lethal weapon from a helicopter, it needs to withstand the shake of the gun. It is just simply technically not possible. But this is the crime that in the charge sheet, our leader was accused of this particular instruction. In the UN report, they themselves had said that given the type of the helicopter that was used to manage the rioters and the pictures that were shown to the investigators, the UN team, they themselves casted doubt on whether they were lethal weapons because they looked like tear gas guns, which is often used by police to manage riots. So they were not lethal weapons that the Rapid Action Battalion had been using. And yet, our Prime Minister, in a one-sided trial, she was convicted. And they had extensively used references from this particular report. A one-sided report in a one-sided trial, and of course, you have seen how the conviction was given. We also have cases pending against us in that tribunal. So, and because of that, of course, I'm also an accused. What I'm saying is, of course, my version of things. You don't have to believe me, but I don't have the right to represent myself. I don't have the right to appoint any lawyer. So I remain a fugitive in this regard. So thank you very much for listening to our presentation here. I'm sure your questions will be better answered by the research team if there is anything on the report. Thank you.
I'll request to tell something about this report and your opinion about this rebuttal. Dr. Rabi Alam, he's the president of USA West Awami League. So he will talk about this rebuttal, Dr. Rabi. And he, just to let you know, he's one of the member of this organization, International Crimes Research Foundation.
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you, New Delhi. Thank you, all the journalists here. We came here to let you know about the atrocity happened in July, August in Bangladesh. Innocent people was killed, sniper was there, police was killed. It was a meticulous design. By whom? Associate Professor, partially Nobel Prize winner, Muhammad Yunus. We want you and we want your help to tell the world about the truth. It was blamed on Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and the government, and you know the story. I urge your help as the innocent people was died, still dying. You know, people was died recently, hanged and burned, and it's still now going on. As a civilian, I ask the journalists like you guys, the same thing happened in Africa. The way Belgian kings and their atrocity was done by Congo, mutilating. So they, the powerful, the mighty people, they have the money, they can get away with anything, everything. The way a simple woman, if you compare this to medieval time, if you compare this with Al-Qaeda, if you compare with ISIS, it's nothing. They are worse than Al-Qaeda, they're worse than ISIS. They kill people, they're mutilating people, they hang people, they burn people. You know the story of people. Hope for the future. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Now I will invite Dr. Hassan Mahmoud, the Foreign Minister of Bangladesh government, to talk something about this rebuttal and also his opinion. Thank you.
To give us the opportunity to help you to establish your media center, and also still the portrait, big portrait of our founding father Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur is still hanging there, and my name is also there. I have seen today, thanks to you. And today you have heard already from Barrister Nijhum Mojumder, Barrister Naufel, Dr. Rabi Alam. I want to, you know that what happened in July and August 2024. In July and August 2024, hundreds of police officers were killed. This is advisor of the president. And all the advisors are advisor to the president actually. The first home advisor of this interim government, he questioned before the media that the bullet which are found in the bodies of the dead people, students, these bullets are not used by the police or even by our border security guard, not by even the military. From where this bullet came, he questioned before the media. So immediate after he raised this question, he was removed from the post because he questioned the whole rhetorics about the whole event that took place in July and August 2024. So how these people are killed, that is still a question, issue of investigation. Now the question comes, how many people were killed? After our government had to leave the power, when the interim government was formed, the advisors and the student leaders who led the movement, they said that 400 people were killed. And 2 weeks later, someone said 800 people were killed. And 3 weeks later, 2 months later, said 1,200 people were killed. And now they are saying 2,000 people were killed. And in the UN Human Rights Commission report, it is mentioned 1,400 people were killed. But government has issued the gazette notification. In the gazette notification, it is mentioned 800 people are killed. UN Human Rights Commission is saying 1,400. Government has issued the gazette notification of 800. And again from the 800 people, this is in the media. You know how media is working in Bangladesh. Highest order of repression of the media is going on in Bangladesh. More than 300 journalists are in jail. Many are suffering from cancer and many other severe diseases. They are not released. They are not properly handled in the jail. So 300 journalists are in the jail, and dozens of journalists have been killed in Bangladesh. And some have committed suicide because of this repression. Okay? Still, during this repression, many media have reported in Bangladesh that in the gazette notification, the name which are mentioned among those people, there are many people are included who died of accident, who died because of, drowned in the water, who died because of family feud, and who died, somewhere died because they went for looting, and during looting they are attacked by the common people, that's why they are killed. So among these people, and again, more than 100 July martyrs have come back alive. This is in the media. So government is saying 800, and again among 800, many people are included who died of accident, drowned, or family feud. And more than 100 have come back alive. This is the, report. So UN Human Rights Commission report. I was very happy when I got a phone call from UN Human Rights Commission team who went to Bangladesh. They wanted to take an interview of me. I was very happy. They said it might take 2 hours. I said, okay, even 4 hours, 5 hours, no problem. I'm ready to give the interview. I gave interview about 2 hours, if I'm not wrong, a little bit less than 2 hours. And I said all the story, how my government house was vandalized, looted, My paternal house was looted. My house in my constituency was burned, looted. How my family was attacked, and etc., etc. They wanted my personal story. So I said everything. I thought that all this would be included in the report. And the same interview was taken by the team to Mr. Noffin, what he has said. Finally, we have seen nothing is included in that report. Nothing. And you see that this government has given indemnity to all the atrocities, killing of police, killing people and hanging and burning from the electric pole, or from the foot of a bridge, or from the branch of a tree, and killing Awami League people. They have given indemnity. The atrocities that took place from July 15, 2024 to August 15, 2024. And in this report, nothing has been mentioned about this indemnity given by the government. It means killing 3,000 police officers and personnel, killing Awami League workers and supporters, looting, vandalizing Awami League workers and supporters' houses, burning Hindu temple, looting Hindu houses, killing Hindus, Buddhists, Christian minorities. So all these things that took place from July 15 to August 15, 2024 is given indemnity. And nothing is mentioned in a report, in a so-called report of UN Human Rights Commission. And indeed, UN Human Rights Commission, by publishing such a biased, one-sided, biased and fabricated stories report, they have committed a crime. And for this, I said when we released this rebuttal in Geneva in the last year, if I'm not wrong, in November, 18th of November, we unveiled this report, the rebuttal in Geneva. I said the same. Today I want to say again, I want to accuse Mr. Volker Turk, the Human Rights Commissioner of UN Human Rights Commission. Personally, I want to accuse him for this biased report. And I want to accuse all the members of his team who has made this biased, one-sided report that is supporting the oppressors, not talking in favor of the oppressed people, rather supporting this oppressor and this regime which is leading mobocracy in Bangladesh, leading lawlessness in Bangladesh, leading serious human rights violation in Bangladesh, and suppression on the freedom of speech and media. His report has supported this regime. And we shall file an official objection. Officially we shall submit a objection to this report to the UN Secretary General's office and against Mr. Volker Turk personally. We shall file a letter to the Office of UN Security, UN Human Rights, UN General Secretary. And what happened in Bangladesh and what is happening in Bangladesh, you know that. So in this report, the UN Human Rights Commission report, only the atrocities between until 15th of August was included, 2024. Though the report was released in February 2025. But after that, what is going on in Bangladesh? In Bangladesh, now more than 100,000 Awami League workers and supporters are in the jail. And 400,000, altogether 400,000 have been arrested, some are released, and if I'm not wrong, more than 100,000 still are in the jail. And more than 200 Awami League leaders and workers have been killed in the jail, extrajudicial killing. And in Bangladesh, thousands of cases against Awami League workers, supporters and leaders. Against me, more than 200 cases. I was foreign minister. I was most of the time in July and August in abroad. I went to Bangladesh on 3rd August in the evening at 7 o'clock. But I'm accused in many cases when I was in abroad. I was either in Europe or in UK or somewhere else. But I'm implicated in the case. I tell you one story. In between, I went to Bangladesh several times. So one day, one of our Jubilee workers was killed. I have forgotten the date. And his body was brought in front of our party office for funeral prayer. I participated in the funeral prayer. I talked to his brother. We helped him also. We helped his brother also. And after 5th August, I found that I am accused in that case of killing that Jubilee worker. Not only me, some other our ministerial colleagues and party leaders are also involved in that case. So this is how the cases are being filed in Bangladesh. Thousands of cases, and number of accused 5 to 6 million. And today, more than 3 to 4 million our party workers, about more than 4 million, if I'm not wrong. There is no, specific data on that. But more than 5 million our party workers and supporters cannot stay at home. They're hiding. And thousands are arrested, as I have said. So in Bangladesh, what is going on today? People are killed, then hanged, and then burned. You have seen the incident of Mr. Dipu Chandra Das.
Yes.
After the Hadi killing, UN Human Rights Commission has issued a statement expressing their concern on Hadi's killing. But nothing was said about Dipu Chandra Das killing. Nothing was said. And nothing was said in that statement of this Human Rights Commission about attacking Prathamalo, Daily Star, Udichi, and Chayanaut. Nothing was said. So what does it mean? They are biased. They made one crime or offense by publishing this report. Again and again, they are issuing many statements. In favor of this government and ignoring the incidents what is taking place in Bangladesh. So, in a civilized society, even a dog cannot be killed. Even a dog in front of the people cannot be beaten to death. In Bangladesh, human, alive, innocent human are beaten to death, and his body is hanged from the branch of a tree. In case of Dipu Chandra Das, this is the recent one. Many other dozens of like this incident had taken place in Bangladesh. Not only Dipu Chandra Das. On the following week, the other person, Amrita Mandal and Kokon Rai was also killed. So, in the UN Human Rights Commission's concern, these are not reflected. So this shows how biasly they are. That's why we shall file a letter to the Office of UN Secretary General against Mr. Volker. He is personally responsible. If you go through the report, you would find this report was not prepared by the UN Human Rights Commission. This report was prepared by the government people, the Dr. Yunus government people, and just a stamp was given on the report. that's why, after work of many months, this rebuttal have been prepared, and we have released this rebuttal in Geneva. In front of a copy was given to the Office of UN Human Rights Commission, to the chairman. And today, the second press conference we are holding in Delhi Press Club, because India is the country that took pain for our liberation. Would remain thankful as long as Bangladesh will remain to India and Indian people. You not only took the pain of our birth, you also gave blood for the liberation of Bangladesh, your army, your people. And at the time, Indian government opened the border for the people of Bangladesh, and more than 10 million people took refuge in India. Indian government opened the border, but the Indian people opened their heart to give shelter to us. So that's why today we are holding this press conference here, because the injustice, the lawlessness, serious human rights violation and repression on the media and the common people. What is going on in Bangladesh, I don't think even in African jungle this is going on. Have you heard that even in Afghanistan a person is killed and then hanged and then burned? No. Have you heard in Africa where conflict is going on for decades, that people are beaten to death and then burned, or a person alive is burned to death? No. In Bangladesh, that is happened and happening. So we urge the international community to raise the voice against these atrocities, so that rule of law is established in Bangladesh, democracy is established in Bangladesh, serious human rights violation is stopped in Bangladesh, repression on media and media personnel are stopped in Bangladesh. Thanks to you all. Joy Bangla. Joy Bangla.
How many deaths? How many people died?
We will open the floor for you in a few minutes' time, so you can ask any question. I'll just add up some information. On 4th of March last year, Volker Turk gave an interview in BBC News. On 4th of March, he specifically told to the interviewer that on July 18th or 19th, he called General Wakaruzaman, the Chief of Army Staff, and particularly told Wakaruzaman that if he helps government in any capacity, the mission from the peace, that troop will be withdrawn from the peace mission in the United Nations. So he himself told in the interview, and he violated the rule of United Nations, like Article 39. So we emailed Volker Turk office that why did he say so, that he cannot interfere in any internal matter of any sovereign country, but we haven't received any reply from his office. And another information that Dr. Mahmoud was telling, that the case filed against him, at least 60 cases have been filed against me while I was in Chennai that time. My mom was a cancer patient and I was in Chennai from 17th of June till today. I'm outside of Bangladesh, and is more than 60 murder cases have been filed against me. And it was a vivid explanation that how I killed people in Mirpur, how I killed people in Chittagong, how I killed people in Mymensingh. All over the Bangladesh I killed people, but unfortunately I was in Chennai and I was in England. So this is the human rights situation, law and order situation in Bangladesh. And I will mention some others' name. Dr. Mahmood was mentioning Dipu Chandra Das and Amrita Mandal. I'll tell you a few more names here. Pranotosh Dipu Chandra Das, Pranotosh Kormokar, Khokun Roy, Bojendra Bishwas, Joy Mohapatra, Sharad Chakraborty, and he also mentioned Amrita Mandal. They were killed in last 15 days. Some were killed in the street, some were killed in their house, and it is very dubious that within last 2 weeks, at least 8 Hindu people, particularly, they were killed. So a systematic killing and widespread killing on minorities in Bangladesh is going on, and we also filed 4 cases in International Criminal Court for last 6 months. We haven't received any reply from international community. So it's a syndicate. When we talk about United Nations, when we talk about any other countries, it looks like a syndicate. They can issue a statement for Hadi, but they cannot issue a statement for Dipu Chandra Das, who were lynched and burnt in broad daylight. So we have another panelist here, but he said he's not going to add any statement. If any question asked to us, then he will answer it. And if you have any question about the rebuttal or any other issues, please, the floor is open. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yes.
Seema Guha from the Outlook magazine. But what is your estimate? How many people died? I mean, you are rebutting what the UN is saying, you're rebutting what the government is saying, but what is your estimate?
Look, during the movement, also our party workers and supporters are killed. And policemen were killed, hanged from the footwear bridge and from the electric pole. So these names are not included in the government gazette notification. So our party workers and supporters, I mean, I'm talking about July and August 2024. So I think you have asked the question, how many people were killed then?
Your estimate.
Yeah. So there is no perfect estimate, so I cannot say the number exactly, but many of our people, many of our workers and supporters, and policemen, 3,000 policemen were killed. 3,000 policemen were killed. 3,000. They are missing. 3,000 policemen, and it is assumed all of them are killed. In one thana, 40 policemen were burned to death. And out of 600 police station, I think, 500 police station, they looted more than 450. Okay? And they looted the arms of the police, which are being used now. And also, I mean, some militants were released from the jail in July, who took part in the atrocities in August. And many of those, I mean, militants were, I mean, had capital punishment, and they were released from the jail. And also 800 arms and ammunition were missing from Noshingi jail. Okay.
No, I was always also asking you, what is your estimate? How many people your government?
If I can just answer that. Until the 1st of August, we had information on the police at least, and we found around 40 of them were killed, and that they are still using that particular figure, 40. This was until the 1st of August. Majority of the killings happened from 1st till the 5th on the police at least, but the current regime is still using that number, 40. They're stuck with that. They themselves have not held any independent investigation on this matter. So when we were in government, our Honorable Prime Minister convened a judicial committee composed of 2 judges of the High Court, and they were meant to conduct investigation into what has happened, at least on the brutality, if there were any, on part of the security forces. But then
This picture is there, so you can see this.
it's just a picture. I'm just answering her question on that. We do not know. Even the government's gazette notification of 800 people is not verified by any independent source. That's the answer.
Sir, do you regard the UN report as wholly fabricated? The UN report as fabricated. The whole report is fabricated.
Yeah, whole report is fabricated, biased, one-sided. Not only fabricated, biased, one-sided, and to protect the regime that is, leading the democracy in Bangladesh, atrocities in Bangladesh. Yes.
And in the report, they have also mentioned that this report is not to be taken as a conclusive evidence towards any kind of criminal trial. They've written this disclosure. Disclaimer. So they know that they have relied on unreliable evidence and unreliable witness testimony, and because they know that, they put in this disclaimer. So it is not just fabricated; it's one-sided, of course, as well.
Sir, I have a question. Your elections have been announced for 12th of February and Awami League hasn't been included. How do you think democracy is going to come back? And besides that, Pakistan and Bangladesh ties have become very strong. Direct flights are going to start. There is human rights violation. Minorities are being attacked. How do you see things normalizing in Bangladesh? And what do you think was the reason for this brutality that happened? All of a sudden, you've been giving examples that nowhere in the world have such atrocities happened. So what was the trigger? Who are these people who are killing the people at the drop of a hat, please? This is Yeshi Seri from Business India.
Look, I want to say first about the election. The election that is going to be held, if it is held, still there is a big question whether the election will be held or not. This is not my question. This is the question raised by the voters. And the participating parties, political parties, are also not sure yet whether the election will be held or not. Even though election is held, this election, they are omitting, they are not including more than 60% people that support Awami League and its allies. According to the report of Reuters is an American news agency, and they said Bangladesh Awami League still enjoys 50% support of the people of Bangladesh. And according to many other investigative reports, including India's one, Bangladesh Awami League is enjoying 59% support of the people of Bangladesh. And there are other parties who are our allies, the 14-party alliance. So they are also barred. They are not also allowed to participate in the election. And Jatiya Party, their hands and legs are tied, and they are asked to participate in the election. So they are also invited. And they are divided. They are divided by the government forces. So people, 60% or more people, and if you ask to the people that what is now is happening is okay or what the past was good, people would say that past was good. In Bengali, agei bhalo chilo. So, and if you ask the approval rate of Sheikh Hasina is more than 80%, 80 to 90% approval rate of Sheikh Hasina was good. So now in the election, this is going to be an arranged election. And why they have barred Awami League? Because they are in fear if Awami League is allowed to participate in the election, Awami League would have landslide victory in the election. That's why, okay, Awami League, they cannot participate in the election. So now the election, what is going to be happen, what is going to take place, if it is, that is an arranged election. So through an arranged election, barring the party that led the independence war of Bangladesh, that led the independence movement of Bangladesh, ruled the country for many years, for several times, after our independence 6 times, and have elevated Bangladesh from a least developed country to a middle income country, have reduced the poverty rate from 40% to 18%, and extreme poverty from 12% to 5%, and that party is barred from participating in the election. So this is an arranged election, and through this arranged election, no stability would come back in Bangladesh. Forget about democracy. The democracy, the election that does not allow 60% supporters to support their party of choice, that is not democracy. Thank you. And Pakistani ties, you see what happened on 5th of August. The people, when Bangabandhu had landslide victory in 1970 election, still more than 20% people voted against Bangabandhu. Okay? More than 23%, if I am not wrong. 23% people did not vote for Noka, the symbol of Awami, in favor of Bangladesh. So their descendants are there. They have a pain, eternal pain. Pakistan was broken. And their children, their grandchildren are there. And that's why they have vandalized number 32 house of Bangabandhu. They have demolished the house. Why? Because that house is responsible for breaking Pakistan. And after breaking that house, the first statement was issued by the ISI chief. IHF's chief first statement was issued, and he said that this house is responsible for breaking Pakistan. First statement. So the people who are ruling the country, they are the people or their descendant who had eternal pain because of the break of Pakistan. So that's why they're tying with Pakistan. And Pakistani singers are coming to Bangladesh, but no from Bangladesh is invited to Pakistan. Okay? So this is how it's going on in Bangladesh.
Good evening. This is Ogni Rai from Anandabajar Putrika. Yeah. So are you apprehending that United Nations Human Rights Office fact-finding team and Dr. Yunus and Jamaat-e-Islami are having a deep down nexus between them? If so, can you please elaborate about that?
Well, we don't think we know that happened. So there is a difference between think and know. We are very much certain about it. Because this is not our statement. This is statement issued by the student wing of Jamaat-e-Islam, Mr. Sadiq Qayyum, that he thoroughly helped United Nations officials and the day 1 to the last days in Bangladesh, they helped. And you already heard from our education minister and from our foreign minister that they were interviewed for 5 hours, isn't it? 5 hours interview, and he was also interviewed for a long time. And there was not a single statement issued from their side. So we don't know what actually they said, and it didn't portray in anywhere on that statement. So obviously we don't think, we know that happened, and it is evident. And what is the evidence? The evidence is there. The report is the evidence. So obviously, yes, that actually happened. Yes.
Just to add to his point, in our absence, it's automatic that only one side will be relied upon, right? So the nexus had happened, whether they intended it or not, we don't want to comment on that. But as a UN body, you're meant to reach out to all the sides. You're not meant to rely on just one side, right? So that's what they have done. They have relied on the version of the current regime and did not take any kind of interview or testimony, or did not include what our government officials of our time had to say. So obviously we are not present in the scene. We were not in the country whilst this so-called investigation was going on. They should have made it absolutely clear that in absence of one side, this particular report relies only on the witnesses sent to us by the government. So, in fact, some of the protest leaders had claimed that not only we had assisted them, there were videos and newspaper cuttings and so on. We had formed a team to assist such a mammoth work, and we did that because we feel we will be able to use it in the tribunal, the international, so-called International Crimes Tribunal, and that's what they've done. Having realized, the UN officials, having realized that this is a wholly one-sided report, they then therefore put in this disclaimer. But then again, if you look at the trial itself, although the disclaimer is there, in the trial, the prosecution team kept relying and referring on this particular report. So it's a complete mess of a judicial system and also the UN system. For OHCR, Office of Human Rights, OHRC, however you would say, you in fact need a resolution from the Security Council for them to hold any kind of investigation. They have to appoint a special rapporteur, and the resolution has to be passed in the Security Council. Not a single resolution has been passed. Mr. Turk he goes around the world and comments on human rights issues and events across the globe, but in no jurisdiction he has convened a special team to write a report. But in this particular regard, he did, because the government of Bangladesh, the illegal government of Bangladesh, has actually requested them. And Yunus is a close friend of Volker. He had claimed that in his public statements that, I knew Mr. Yunus for a long time, and therefore the nexus goes far deeper than just, what we see.
Hi, good evening. My name is Ashok and I am from the Pioneer. Minister, you just said that your party has been barred to contest elections in your country. If they will allow, are you in position to return your country, including your leader, Sheikh Hasina? And I think to this point, always current regime says Sheikh Hasina is residing in the country, which is illegal. What is your comment?
Look, if Bangladesh Awami League is allowed to participate in the election, that election should be held under a neutral caretaker government, under a neutral administration. This administration is completely hostile towards us, and they are taking revenge on us. So under this administration, level playing field for Awami League will never be possible. So we do want to participate in the election. We take to power all the time through election. We believe in people's power. And today, in fact, why Awami League is barred to participate in the election? Because Awami League's popularity has been increased after 5th August. Because of their atrocities, failure to run the country, failure to manage the economy. There is no rule of law. Mobocracy is ruling the country. That's why Awami League's popularity and the popularity of our leader Sheikh Hasina has been increased tremendously, and that is their fear. And that's why they don't want to let the Awami League to participate in the election. And we are always ready to go to the country. We are political element. We have gone to the jail before also. Sheikh Hasina also went to jail before also. There must be rule of law first. We shall definitely return in the country. And timely, we shall definitely, inshallah, will return to the country, along with Sheikh Hasina, our leader.
Hi, one question from me. Jayanto Roy Chaudhary from the Violence UNI. Have you listed the atrocities and killings since August 2024 till date? One. Secondly, if you have, then why don't you go with those figures to the UN and to the EU and to the Commonwealth Secretariat and ask them for a report on your statements?
Indeed, different teams are working to list the atrocities, and this is going on because there is everyday atrocity, So this is going on, and we are submitting this not openly. We are submitting the report to relevant organizations that you have mentioned, and we shall decide after the discussion with our party and the leader whether we shall make it public, when we shall make it public. But we are feeding the report to different organizations that you have mentioned.
From the Hindu, sir.
One thing I want to ask your help to hold accountable this UN, European Union, all the people, you guys are, our hope. Because, we don't have any voice. You are our voice. Thank you.
This is the question for the former Foreign Minister. This is the Kolod from the Hindu newspaper. Right. Yeah. So, the government of India is being accused by the interim government repeatedly of hosting, of course, Sheikh Hasina, and also promoting quote-unquote anti-Bangladesh activities that are being carried out by the Awami League leaders. Now, today you are right in front of us in the National Press Club of India, and you are, of course, making your remarks public about what is going on in Bangladesh. So, what is the status of the relation that you have at present with the government of India? Are you satisfied with the support that you are receiving, or would you prefer an escalation in that support from the government of India? If you could clarify the kind of relation that the government you have with the government of India, and that's the one clarification. And then you were introduced as a serving foreign minister of Bangladesh. So should we understand from this introduction that that there is an Awami League government in exile that is now working? Is that some sort of a reality that's in front of us? Because both you and Mr. Nofel were introduced as ministers who are still ministers.
Indeed, the relationship between Bangladesh and India is bonded by blood, because you shed your blood during our independence. Thousands of Indian Army sacrificed their lives for the independence of Bangladesh. And the relationship between India and Bangladesh went to new height under the leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and your Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi. And relationship with India and Awami League is also historic. So this historic relationship is still there. And Sheikh Hasina came to India with full protocol, with the government helicopter, security, and everything. She came to India. And India and Indian people are in support of democracy, rule of law. Indian people also support the protection of human rights, protection of freedom of speech, protection of journalists, as I am talking in the National Press Club of India, Daily Press Club. So what is absent in Bangladesh? Automatically support comes towards them who are opposing the atrocities in Bangladesh. The democracy, violation of human rights, repression of the journalist, and freedom of speech. So those who are opposing these atrocities in Bangladesh, the support automatically comes to them. And I believe, you see, in Bangladesh there is a politics, anti-India politics in Bangladesh. Very often you would hear the slogan, Dilli na Dhaka, Dilli na Dhaka. The person The lady who is chanting the slogan Dilli na Dhaka, she is wearing a shadi went from Calcutta. Or she is wearing a, what is that? Kashmiri shawl. Or she is wearing a salwar kameez, also went from Calcutta or from South India or from Delhi. And chanting slogan Dilli na Dhaka, Dilli na Dhaka. So you see in Bangladesh there is a politics, anti-India politics. But India is our immediate neighbor on three sides. On one side, a little bit more than 200 kilometers, we have border with Myanmar, and on the other side, Bay of Bengal. We must have good relationship with India. So when the people allied with the government or was in the government just a few months back, if they say that we will separate 7 sisters from India, then what India would do, India knows very well. So I think India would do the right thing. Thank you.
One more thing is the legality. No.
So by holding this press conference here in Delhi, in the national capital, you have provided one more ammunition to the US government to play anti-India government, anti-India politics.
Regarding
As it is, but de facto in Bangladesh right now, the interim regime. So our position is that it is an illegal regime until an elected government comes in an election where all the claim that we are the de jure government, the legally constituted valid government. But the reality is of course different. But it is our political position and our legal position. The rest of course is up to you how you want to address us. Thank you.
Hello, this is Shravan from the German National Broadcaster DW. My question to you, to the former Foreign Minister, that we were talking about the